Welcome back. Now, the Road Fund Administration will be hosting a road sector policy conference under the theme Strengthening Institutional Capacity for a Sustainable Road Sector. The event is aimed at holding discussions that will build a more robust, more sustainable road sector for the future and will be held from the 23rd till the 24th of September. And joining us with more details is Jonas Kafidi, who is the Strategy and Projects Officer in the Office of the CEO at the Road Fund Administration, as well as Mr. Nehemiah Kapofi, the Senior Engineer in the Division of Program Management, Policy and Advice. And they are both from the Road Fund Administration. Gentlemen, a very good morning to you. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great. It's Friday.
It's Friday, eh?
Yeah, man.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Bishishi, thank you for having the both of us.
It's a pleasure to have you guys with us. Of course, this massive conference coming up towards the end of September. Let's just talk about the need for this conference in the first place. Mr. Kapofi, yes.
Thank you, Bishishi. Morning, Namibia. Morning. The Road Fund Administration, along with its sector institution, being the Ministry of Works and Transport, the Ministry of Finance and Public Enterprises, as well as the Roads Authority, felt the need to convene a road sector policy on the 23rd to the 24th of September 2024. It's a two-day conference, and the theme being sustainable institutional capacity development. This is prompted by challenges which have been experienced in the sector since the reforms of 2000. Now, foremost, the sector conference aims to bring the key institutions together so that we can discuss the reforms since inception, see what progress has been made, and craft a way for a strategic, sustainable future outlook.
Fantastic stuff. When we speak about sustainability within the road sector, what does that mean, just for the sake of ourselves?
To look at it, we have had good improvements in our road sector. The road network in Namibia has expanded quite extensively, and that is still not enough. We still need to build a whole lot more roads to make the country accessible and to drive the economy. Now the challenge comes with, number one is funding for the new works, as well as, again, funding for the existing roads, the maintenance of the existing roads. You know, we somehow need to keep up with the funding needs. I think at the moment it's quite a struggle.
True.
The number of vehicles that we have versus the length of the roads that we have to maintain. Per vehicle, each vehicle will somehow have to cater for much longer distances, the payment that we have to do, the levies that we have to collect from each one of them. So that's the challenge that we are faced with at the moment.
Very much. And of course, funding is very expensive, and maintenance of roads and the developments thereof is very expensive. Can you put it into context for the sake of our viewers? And currently, when it comes to funding, of course, we know that we collect from certain levies, etc. But there have been talks about the establishment of toll gates, etc., to help further raise funds, etc. How are we doing under the current circumstances, the current levies we collect from, etc.? Is it enough to maintain and also build new roads in the country?
That's one of the biggest challenges. At the moment, we are collecting about $1 plus just below $2 per liter of fuel. And then we are not collecting enough. I mean, as I put it before, our number of vehicles, we are too few to share the burden. But well, we are currently among the better doing countries in the African continent, if not the best. We are actually doing
exactly. I mean, that's why we rank so high when it comes to the
but to keep to that level, we somehow have to try and see if there are better things that we can do.
Yeah.
Issues such as toll gates perhaps might come up in future.
Yes.
We still have a challenge with vehicles that we are buying nowadays. People are opting for more fuel-efficient vehicles.
Yes.
A vehicle that could use 13 liters in 100 kilometers. Nowadays, people are dropping down to 7 liters. So a person is driving a much longer distance by a small contribution on the levy.
Very much so.
So that poses quite a big challenge also.
Yep.
So these are the innovative. We need to look at the innovative ways now of funding our road sector.
Of course, the road sector faces a very interesting future as well, with the introduction and the growing popularity of EVs, etc. It will be interesting to see how electric vehicles fit into the Namibian picture, but obviously that's a conversation for another day. A key aspect of the theme as well is, of course, strengthening institutional capacity. We've spoken about the aspect of funding. Perhaps, Mr. Kapofi, we can go back into looking at, how do we strengthen the institutional capacity? It's not just the Road Fund Administration. You have the Roads Authority. You have all the other stakeholders in the sector. Talk to us about strengthening their capacity.
Indeed. Ndishisi, thank you very much. Just to take you a step back, recall that we keep referring to our ambitious transformation process.
Yes.
The road sector reforms of 2000. Now, they animated in the creation of 3 key distinct entities, one being the Road Fund Administration, the Roads Authority, and then the Roads Contractor Company, being a force account extension of the government.
Very much.
Now, the intention was to create efficiency and improve the maintenance as well as the funding towards the sector. Now, over time, the institutions have been carrying out their mandates as per their required legal frameworks. And we have found that the synergy, or rather the collaborative effort, we need to refocus on that and bring the institutions together so that we can come together, craft better strategies on how we can sustainably fund, develop, expand, and preserve our current road network.
Very much indeed. And it's a growing network for that matter. Mr. Kafidi, what do you hope this conference will address as far as issues of policy, as far as issues of implementation of those policies are concerned?
Eventually, we are looking at now having these institutions that are involved in the road sector strengthened to such a point that they will be able to handle the challenges that are faced coming with the sustainability of our road sector. Finances, policies, framework, the legal framework, and perhaps even intellectual capacity as well, in terms of personnel and all that. So all the issues that relate to the sustainability of the road, that's what we are looking at. So eventually we will be looking at policy recommendations to make changes to our policies as the need may be.
Fantastic. Mr. Kapofi, perhaps some of the outcomes you'd like to see from this conference as well?
Thank you, Indeed. My colleague just touched on a few of them. We want to see practical recommendation coming from this conference. As aware, you have rightly pointed out that Namibia, we have continuously over the past few years ranked as #1 in Africa in terms of the quality of best maintained road, and that is an accolade we want to keep. And unfortunately, that accolade comes at a price.
And a very high price.
Yes, times have evolved, technology has evolved. We are now also speaking of challenges posed by climate change. We need to make our roads resilient. We speak of climate change adaptation. We are on the cusp of the introduction of electric vehicles. Yeah. So we also want to share best practice, knowledge, exchange information. Yes. And in terms of the profile of this conference, we have lined up a wealth of speakers with, who are experts in their field. So this conference is coming at an opportune time, and it's very, very relevant. Yeah. And we're hoping that these recommendations will help us drive Namibia into the future, both from a medium to a long-term perspective. 100%.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us this morning. I wish you could further expound, of course, on issues of the strain on Namibian roads, the fact that Namibia acts as a hub. We host the Trans-Kalahari Corridor, etc. A lot of trucks, a lot of road vehicles moving on our roads, and we certainly wish you all the best with this conference to help come up with some of those solutions to the current challenges here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
There you have it. That was Mr. Jonas Kafidi. He is the Strategy and Projects Officer in the Office of the CEO at the Road Fund Administration, as well as Mr. Nehemiah Kapofi. He is a Senior Engineer in the Division of Program Management, Policy and Advice at the Road Fund Administration as well, talking to us about a road sector policy conference taking place on the 23rd and 24th of September 2024. Keep your eyes on the Road Fund Administration social media pages for more information and see how you can form part of this very important conference. Do stay with us.